Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Derek
Hey everybody, how you doing?
and our very special recurring guest star, Eric.
Jenny.
So today we are talking about an entire month of General Hospital, the Brenda Years, December 1992. So I will roll the credits and we will get into this. Okay, so we picked up with Lucy in the shower with Scott. Dominique was at the airport. I don't remember why. Was she going on a business trip?
To New York, yeah.
I feel like she's always going on business trips. Because wasn't she in like
She really is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. Something happened. Her flight got delayed or she changed her mind, but whatever. She decided to go home. And now Lucy's standing there butt ass naked in front of Scott, trying to flirty with him, maybe trying to seduce him, not really sure. Because she's
Probably.
seen him with Dominique at Kelly's and she's a little bit jealous.
Just a tad.
Yeah. Also, we know that Lucy was the art dealer lady that stole all the art last time.
But not the mastermind, I don't think, right?
No.
It's that other person.
It's a guy named Koufax. Is that it? Koufax?
Halifax. Richard Halifax.
Halifax.
Randolph Mantooth.
Yeah. He was on Loving, right?
He was on, I want to say he's on Loving. He was in that show Emergency in like the 70s. He goes way back.
Okay.
I thought he looked familiar, but a name didn't pop in my head and I didn't look him up.
Yeah, look him up. He's in a lot of stuff.
So,
of course, he might have been in Days too, I think.
Of course, Dominique comes home and catches Scott, and she misreads the situation, and I'm sick of this makeup to break up to makeup scenario with these two. They're funny with the back and forth, but I'm just sick of it.
Which one, Dominique and him?
Dominique and Scotty. I like them together. I think they're funny. I like their banter.
I like them together.
I hate that they break up every time there's a misunderstanding, just for them to make up again. She needs to be a little bit more secure in their relationship.
Well, I'm thinking that's probably what ultimately breaks them up is, these things.
No, I feel like she dies.
Well, she does, but I'm just saying, like, they pretty much probably wrote her out because that's what they wrote, and then they're just like, all right, let's make a serious storyline, and then kill her.
That's not nice.
I mean, what do you think they talk about in writer's room? They have
to. I'm just imagining a web of strings. Like, who could we kill off? So Brenda and Jagger decide to play sick. This is Brenda's idea at the high school.
Of course it is.
And they end up in the nurse's office. And Brenda did something. I don't know if she put their heads by a light bulb or she put the thermometers by a light bulb to make it look like they would have a fever. So they're left alone in the nurse's office, and Brenda locks the door, and I guess she tries to have sex with Jagger in the nurse's office.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry. I know that they're not the rooting couple, but like visually, I love them.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them as a couple.
No. I think they have chemistry.
I feel like it's being set up that Brenda's going to get hurt in the end because you have him longing.
Yeah, of course.
So Marco and Lucy actually had really good comedic chemistry throughout this whole month.
They do. Better than Tracy and him did, I feel like.
Better? You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I did not have them on my bingo card, those two, but they're great.
Well, okay, so rewinding a little bit. Lucy shows up at Kelly's, and Bobby is like, wants nothing to do with her. I don't really know their history. I assume it's because of Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby doesn't like her, but her tongue was sharp with Lucy, and so was Ruby's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know their history of the 80s either. I'm assuming it was stuff in the 80s that led to it. I'm not
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
I'll see it
But
one day.
something I did forget was, so Lucy went up to the counter and Jagger was working, and she was looking at him a little weird, and I was like, is Lucy checking him out? Like, is she? Totally forgot that at Thanksgiving he saw her on the dock and thought she was homeless and gave her like money.
Yeah.
And that's why he gave her that muffin on the house, because he thinks she's homeless. So I totally misread that whole situation. I'm like, is she like?
Well, she is homeless, technically.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
technically. Which is another piece of why she went to Scott's, because I think she thought she could stay there.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized Lucy's antics because I only knew her like with Kevin, and I felt with Kevin she had her shit a little bit more together.
Yeah.
She was still quirky, but like not. I never thought she was like a con artist, scam art. Like I never realized like knew that part of her.
Yeah, me either.
It's nice to see this history. Because
um,
look at her now. If you watch the stuff now, like I see it, like where this stuff came from. Like she's crazy.
so going back to the nurse's office, Brenda and Jagger end up getting suspended because of what they did. Which Brenda doesn't see as a big deal, and neither does Jagger, but Karen's concerned that Jagger is going to like drop out of school again. So because we watched so much, I can't remember. Did they kiss in November or did they kiss in December? Karen and Jagger.
It was November.
It was November.
Yeah, they kissed in November.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
So they're kind of fighting their attraction. They keep having these close-up moments where you think they're going to kiss again, and she's like, no, I'm with Jason. He's a really good guy.
Oh, you mean I didn't hear you say Karen. I'm sorry, but yeah, November for that one.
Who'd you
I thought
think
you said Brenda.
Oh.
I thought you said Brenda.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They did more than kiss.
I know. That's why I'm like, wait.
So oddly, I'm really invested. Well, now it's kind of over, but the Jenny, Tracy, Marco, Senator, Paul
Ned.
storyline.
I felt really bad for Jenny. I wasn't like into her at first, but she kind of really grew on me, and I felt like everybody did her dirty. That's why I'm Jenny today.
Yeah.
Like Team Jenny. Fuck those people.
Well, Tracy's like Tracy is threatened by her because of whatever attraction she knows that her husband Paul has for Jenny.
Right.
And so she's using this information to hold over Jenny's head, which we saw in November. Jenny's doing her best to stay away from Paul. So
She loves Ned.
Marco has the tape, which I thought he already sold to Tracy, but I guess he's still playing this cat and mouse game, trying to get more money out of her.
Of course.
So he swears this tape is so juicy it's worth the money. Also, he lets it loose that he let Reginald come to poker one night, and she's like not amused that he's like playing poker with her staff. So he swears he has this tape. I guess he owes money, and he keeps saying that Tracy Quartermain's going to cover it, and I guess she's not. And so Julia goes to his room, I guess, to talk to him about his bill. And he's not there, and she's in there, and for some reason she can't help herself. She has to listen to this random tape that she sees on the desk. And that's where she hears Jenny and the senator talking about their past.
Right.
So did I say Jenny or Julia? Well,
Jenny. Or Julia.
Julia's the one that's listening. Jenny's on the tape.
Right.
So Julia takes the tape with the intention, I guess, of giving it to Jenny and having her do what she wants with it. That's what she said in dialogue later on.
Yeah.
She puts it, was it in the safe or was it out? Because Brenda's suspended and she's still playing sick, and she's like listening to music. And then Brenda puts the tape in her cassette player and she hears it. And I was kind of mad at Brenda for doing this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think she was this devious. She
No.
decides that because she wants Ned and her sister to be together, that she's going to break up Ned's marriage by putting this tape in Ned's car for him to hear.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks she's doing it for a good reason. Like she really believes
Right.
that. So she
Yeah.
doesn't think that it's going to be a bad thing.
I know, but it's so destructive. Like, I was totally on Julia's side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Same.
I was just like, I don't know. I just never thought Brenda had that kind of mean streak in her.
Well, she's
I
still a
think Brenda
kid.
was doing what Julia was afraid to do. I think that's what was in her mindset.
Yeah.
For sure.
But the way she went about it and how she explained it to Julia, it was very
Mhm.
selfish and kind of like,
Yeah.
you weren't thinking of other people's feelings. Like, you literally blew up a
Exactly.
marriage.
Right.
Yeah. Although Ned doesn't handle it well at all, because I hate Ned.
I don't know who the
1992.
writer was. I don't know who the writer was at this time, but a lot of the big things seem to happen at the beginning of the episode versus it being a cliffhanger, and then like the after effects is the episode.
Yeah.
Because Ned got in the car and heard the tape at the beginning of an episode, and then the credits ran, and then it was like the aftermath.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. It's a switch up.
Yeah.
So Tracy's got nothing on Jenny now because it's all out. Ned immediately goes to Jenny and confronts her. And he's a dick, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never seen Ned like this. I didn't like it.
No. I'm like, I want to see how him and Lois fall in love because I was not.
No, he's the same way with Lois in
Is
the
he?
beginning, especially in the beginning. Yeah.
Really?
God.
Well, do you remember, I don't know if you remember, but he was married to Lois and Catherine at the same time. He was a bigamist.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got shocked on me.
No, because I knew he was dating them at the same time. I didn't know that he married them both.
No, he married them both at the same time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And that's when he was Eddie Main.
Yeah. Well, he was Eddie Main to Lois, and then to Catherine, he was Ned.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's how he got away with it. For a little while, anyway.
Huh. I didn't know they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Either. Well, I knew him eventually, but so yeah, he's a dick to Jenny. I thought it was really fucked up because he's blaming her for things that happened when she was 16. She was underage. She's a victim in this situation.
Yeah.
Right.
And the way I viewed it,
I think he's more mad that she didn't tell him, not like about what happened.
I know, but I just feel like he already had one foot outside the marriage, and he was just waiting for a mistake to happen so he could use that and harp on that. Because he was clearly attracted to Julia the whole time.
And he wanted a virgin, apparently too, which was annoying.
Well, Julia's not a virgin. She was with Bill. Like,
not Julia, Jenny.
No,
remember Jenny?
He wants Julia, and Julia's not like pure.
Yeah, I don't understand what he was thinking. Maybe like I really don't. Like maybe for marriage wise, like he thought he had a virgin, and I think he's more mad about that.
I'm not saying that the actress that plays Jenny looks old, but she keeps saying 7 years ago when she was 16, which would make her 23, and she does not look 23. She looks like
no, she definitely does not look 23.
28, maybe.
Yeah, I would say 20.
They could have said 10 years at least.
Right.
So yeah, so this really made me feel for Jenny because I just felt like everybody was like ganging up on her.
They were.
Yeah. Everybody. To her as a child.
Yeah.
So Julia and Brenda have it out because she finds out, or she puts the pieces together that Brenda's the one that put the tape in the car, or Brenda tells her. And Brenda's like expecting a thank you pretty much. And Julia is so distraught and angry that she slaps Brenda.
Yeah.
It was a good one too.
And although it it wasn't right. I felt like it was warranted.
Well,
Yeah,
Brenda said something nasty to her though, too, didn't she? I
she
forget what she
did.
said. She did say something nasty, and that's why she got slapped. Not just because she did that.
Well, I don't know. I
I
feel
think
like
she's.
go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I think she was saying like, I just did what you couldn't do or whatever,
Yeah.
and something like that.
Hmm. And the way that Brenda was reacting to this, I
Mm,
just felt like she was playing the whole "I'm an abused child" angle, and she
yeah.
runs to Jagger, who was probably actually abused, and she was slapped once because she was a bitch.
Yeah.
um, so she ends up staying at Jagger's for the night anyway. At first,
Yeah.
and they full on have sex. I can't remember if they've had sex before.
I think that was the first time.
Really,
Yeah.
it was hot. They like fell off the bed. That's how hot it was.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean,
"Ooh, my
Jagger's
shoulder
pretty
would never
good
recover
for.
if that happened." um, and he's late for work the next morning, and of course, Karen's knocking on the door, and Brenda answers while he's in the shower, wrapped in a sheet, obviously showing off the fact that they slept
Mm.
together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do they ever become friends?
I would assume so
Oh,
eventually.
I know when they have like a good moment between them, but I won't spoil it.
um, so let's put a pause on Brenda for a minute, and let's talk about Tiffany and Bobby
Mm,
and Lucas.
Yeah.
It's more of the same. Tiffany's just doing
mm,
everything that she can to prolong having to give Lucas to Bobby. Even
Yeah.
like making a plan to drop him off the next morning and then not doing it. Like saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got caught up. I was busy, or we had all this stuff to do. We'll do it tomorrow." And Bobby's trying to be understanding,
Mhm.
but her patience is wearing thin.
yeah.
And Tiffany ends up using the number, or she calls Jessica to get a number of a lawyer to get custody of Lucas, to hold that in her back pocket. And she inevitably ends up threatening Bobby and Tony that she's gonna sue for custody if they keep pressing this. So it was the beginning of an episode, and Tiffany was laughing because Tiffany said to Sean, she's like, "I just want to warn you so you're not shocked." She's like, "No matter what the judge says, I'm
Mm.
not going up Lucas." And he's just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like,
she's
"Just warning you,
hardcore.
not doing it."
I mean, I don't blame her for how she's acting, but at the same time, it's annoying to see Tiffany like this when I know how cool she is in the 80s. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
get out of the way.
I had a moment where I was like, you know what? Like if this was any other like a lesser actress, this would annoy me. But because I like this actress, I think she's doing a good job. But then as it
Right.
went on
Mhm.
and we got towards Christmas, I was like, okay, it's starting to annoy me.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
And Sean's really good at putting her in her place, though. You need to stop acting like this.
Mm-hmm.
And also like whenever like the scheduled like visit where the supervised visit, she's like, no, I'm not, we're not staying long. He's like, yes we are. Don't give him presents, give him a present. Like he like undermines everything she says.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
So yeah, so the
Because
judge
he knows
rules.
it can lead he knows it can lead to worse if
Yeah,
if she keeps acting up.
Tony and Sean keep
right.
talking on the side like, listen, we're good, like they gotta work it out. Like
Yeah.
Mm,
like we're cool whatever happens, but them not so much.
Yeah, right.
mm,
So the judge ends up saying that she has to review the evidence and they have to go to trial. So she gives temporary custody, full custody to Tiffany and Sean, with supervised visitation to Bobby and Tony. Now,
Yeah.
I thought supervised meant there was going to be a court appointed supervisor, but it was just Tiffany and Sean supervising.
Yeah.
right.
Makes
Um,
sense.
so that was it for that. Yeah, the whole Felicia, not Kevin, Ryan.
Ryan. Kevin's not there yet.
Yeah, Mac story. Ugh. Okay, so Ryan woke up and he's pretending he has amnesia, or he's just pretending like everything that happened like didn't.
It's called gaslighting.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
or he didn't do any of the things that Felicia's saying he did to get
Right.
her to do
He's
what
trying to
she
make
did
her
to
look
him.
crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he keeps saying that he loves Felicia and he doesn't want to press charges, but the DA is involved now, so they're pressing on the case.
Right.
Felicia and Mac break into his apartment, which immediately I'm like, whatever you find is not going to be admissible in court because you broke in.
Right.
Yeah.
Derek and I were texting about this because Felicia
Yeah.
keeps leaving town and she's on trial for murder. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, they're going
You
everywhere.
can't do that.
Yeah.
That
And
was
I
what
know
was
we're not
annoying me the
supposed to.
most. I'm like, why do you keep leaving? You have a trial to go to the next day.
Right. They went to Texas. They went back to the lodge.
The
Like they were
cabin.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
like, this bitch.
Everywhere that's
God.
not Port Charles.
I guess she wasn't deemed a flight risk. I don't know.
I guess maybe it was
Oh.
like a first offense thing. It's your first offense, so
Your
go
first
where you
offense
want.
of trying to kill somebody. uh, so I don't even know what to say about this because nothing really happened except he's trying to make her crazy.
And I think it's just that Mac and Felicia are getting closer too. So it's kind of like their love story because they weren't
Right.
really together yet.
Yeah.
So Mac's really being there for her, helping her and all that stuff.
They even get Sean to kind of participate. Doesn't he break into Ryan's apartment to
Yeah.
get dirt to prove that the dirt was from Texas or something? From his boot.
The dirt on the boots was from Texas.
But when they like met up with him in his office, he was like playing dumb. He's like, I don't know how this random bag of dirt got on my desk.
Right.
And Ryan's still allowed to practice too, which I thought was interesting. Is it just because if it's like a he said she said, like
Well,
wouldn't he
'cause
have to stop his
Well, he
practice?
hasn't really done anything wrong yet
yeah,
that they know of. There's no charges against
Mhm.
him.
they're just charging her with the attack on
Hmm.
him. They're not really charging him with anything that he did.
And
Hmm.
it's very like I knew he was a pediatrician, but it was creepy seeing him being a pediatrician in those scenes.
Right.
Yeah, it was. He's training future serial killers
Right.
Right.
for skin codes.
Um. So, do you guys have anything else to say about them?
Felicia and Mac and Ryan.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, they went to when they were in Texas. They were trying to find that witness that ended up being killed, and they were trying to prove that Ryan killed him. That
Yeah.
I
The
don't remember
bartender?
who the witness was, but
Was it the bartender that died mysteriously and there was like a new bartender?
in a boating accident or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were like trying to
Hmm.
find Ryan's like PTO or whatever to see if he was scheduled off or whatever those days.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, I paid attention. I just didn't care.
Why was Felicia's grandmom on? Just to be there?
Oh yeah, she was there. June Lockhart. Yeah.
Oh, I wondered who
Yeah.
that was. I was like, oh, she knows
Yeah.
them, but I don't know why she
Yeah.
knows them.
She's still alive today, I believe. She's like 90.
Yeah. She's
They
on
She should
throughout
found
go
the
back.
'90s, I believe.
they found
Okay.
the wedding rings, I guess, that Ryan wanted to use because they went back
Hmm.
to the cabin to find the ashes of the wedding dress she burned.
Right.
And she freaked out when she saw the blood on the floor from Ryan. And they were like, they cleaned up
Hmm.
the ashes. I'm like, why would they clean up the ashes, but they wouldn't clean up the blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird.
So weird.
But yeah, so they search
And
and they end up finding the wedding rings.
what are the rings gonna prove though? That's what I didn't
That he
understand.
intended to marry her and that he did put
Well,
her in the wedding dress.
Mac was saying he was trying to prove like that he bought the wet rings. Like
Okay,
they were trying to locate where he purchased them.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That makes sense.
yeah, right. But
Just
it's
to prove
still
because he
not
is lying.
admissible in court because it's the police didn't find them. Mac and Felicia found them. So I don't
Mm.
understand what the purpose of that
Yeah, Mac's not
was.
a cop yet. Mac's just a bar
No,
owner,
No,
right?
no,
he's
he's
a
Maybe when
just
he
pretend
becomes a
cop.
cop. Yeah, right.
and he's a bar owner, doesn't he own the Outback?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
owns Outback. Yeah.
Um, so
I think that's all that happened with them.
yeah, AJ's drinking a lot. Um,
AJ.
Mhm.
What's a sin?
so much so that I guess he intentionally tried to commit suicide by parking in the garage,
I think he
closing it,
did.
and having the carbon monoxide kill him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that's what was happening at first because his window wasn't down, but I'm like, I guess it doesn't matter if you're sitting in a closed garage.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they did that. I was also surprised that he was on to the very end of the year because I don't think he goes into 90.
Yeah.
He was up until
I said
December
No.
31st.
I said the same thing because they talk about him going to rehab, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna come back as Sean Kanan,
Yeah,
and then like he doesn't
Yeah.
leave, and he still doesn't leave.
he
like,
still doesn't
like,
leave.
dude, he's still there. I thought he was gone because they like I thought they said goodbyes, and then he's still there, and I'm like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
I did feel really bad for him though, like, and
I did
especially when
too. I really
Alan.
like him.
I like him too, and I feel really bad because especially when he overheard what Alan was saying about him, and it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he said he
it
was a
was even
loser.
heartbreaking watching Alan meeting with him, for help to get help, and
Hmm.
trying to reinforce that he does love him and get him to believe.
Yeah,
I love the Quartermaines. I love their
Yeah.
dysfunctional
I do
relationship.
too. But Alan was dumb. Yeah, like what he did was really dumb, and Monica, clearly showed him and told him that he was dumb for doing it
Yeah,
multiple
so
times.
Monica found out that he paid her off
She was
because
pissed.
Hmm.
she was going over the
She
bank
knew he did.
or whatever,
She
and
she
she
knew he did.
yeah, and he's
She
just
just
like,
wanted
oh,
him to admit
he was
it.
just like, oh, I'll just check out. She's like, there's $1 million discrepancy, and you're just like, oh, I'll just check it out. She's like, you
Hmm.
paid her off.
Yep. She knew. She knew from the get-go it was him, but she knew she had to get him to admit it.
Hmm.
So Jenny tells Paul everything that happened with the tape, and that Ned wants a divorce, and that he moved into the Port Charles Hotel, and he wants
Hmm.
her out ASAP. But she doesn't want him to tell Tracy that he knows. Um, but he doesn't really do a good job of keeping that promise.
Yeah.
And he's just done with Tracy, and Tracy's just like so desperate to hold on to him. He doesn't want to spend Christmas with her. He just wants to spend it with the kids and then leave. He like wants to open presents with Dylan the night
Dylan.
before because he won't be there on Christmas Day. Um, I thought it was really sweet when Tracy was talking to Lila about it, and she hugged her, and she was just
Hmm.
kind of like laying on her. I thought that was a cute scene.
Hmm.
I
I also
felt a little bad, but even though I want Tracy to get smacked several times.
you felt a little bit.
It was just, like you said, it was a sweet moment to see, like, 'cause she was like, "Mommy," like Lila's like holding her. It was cute.
I also enjoyed her scene with Edward. Oh, I was gonna say Alan, Edward, where he was just
Hmm.
like, oh, he's like another marriage going the way of the dinosaur.
Hmm.
He's like, we're a Quartermain. We cry in private and we smile in public.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna miss
good.
I'm gonna miss this Edward because I've been watching him in 82, 83, and now
Oh,
currently,
really?
and I'm gonna miss him when he goes. I'm guessing he goes when AJ does, or pretty much soon after.
he's such a
No, he's got like 6 months left.
No, that's not bad.
he's such a
Yeah.
grumpy old man.
He
He
is
like
Hmm.
so good at it. He's so good at this role.
I thought it was a sweet tender moment with Reginald and Tracy when he gave her a present and
Yeah.
it was a bell. So she's like that way.
Hmm.
He's like that way you don't have to scream at me. She's like, but I like to scream at you.
Yeah, that
That
was
was cute.
good.
I'm like, Are they gonna have a fling? I almost felt like a connection.
No, I didn't read it like that.
No.
I don't
um,
know.
no, that would have to be like a one-off drunken night. I don't no.
It looks like it might be heading that way.
I
She's
don't.
in a funk right now. And they really did the character of Paul dirty because I'm like, he's actually like a good guy back then. I didn't really see any
Mhm.
like mean streak. And then he became a
Yeah,
killer in
yeah.
like 2000 whatever. I'm
Yeah, he
like,
was very
damn.
much rewritten in the when he's his second run.
Well, he was good in the beginning, and then all of a sudden he was that killer or whatever, which I was glad he did because I hated Sabrina, so she had to go. But
Hmm.
anyway.
Um. So Ned is like wants to like go full steam ahead with dating Julia, and he's not even divorced yet. And Julia is friends with Jenny and her boss.
Right.
She ain't her friend. She ain't her friend. She would have never put herself in this situation if she was her friend.
I
No.
know. See, I struggled with that because I like Julia.
I know, me too. But I was like, Julia's very wrong here. Very, very wrong.
I know. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
Because even if you did go about it the right way and you like kept him at a distance until they were like officially divorced, how do you say to your friend, "Oh, I'm dating your ex-husband now," and they're okay with
Right, right.
True, true.
And that fast. I mean, it's like he had her lined up. You know what I mean? Like, if
That's what I'm
anything
saying.
happens to
It's like he
Jenny,
had one foot out of the marriage already, and he was just waiting for something to clinch
right,
to like get out.
Yeah.
right.
Um, yeah, and then of course, so Jenny comes to see Julia, and Ned. She's getting ready to go out with Ned. I don't know if it was New Year's Eve or if it was a different night. I think it may have been a different night. And Ned shows
Yeah,
up
I think
with
it.
flowers, and that's how she finds out that they're dating. And all of Jenny's insecurities come rushing, and she thinks that maybe they've been having an affair this whole time, and that's why he's so
Right.
ready to
Well,
be.
Ned like rubbed it in her face too. He's like, "Oh, we're going to dinner." Like he didn't. She was like Julia was trying to play it off to like not upset her friend. Well,
Yeah.
friend.
She's
Mhm.
like, "It's a business dinner," and he's like, "Nope, no business, just dinner."
And I like that Julia was feeling guilty, and then she started feeling not guilty, and I'm like, "Bitch, you're guilty. Like you go back to feeling,
Mhm.
you go back to feeling guilty. Not
she
cool."
she seemed to harp on the one thing she didn't want Jenny to think that they were having an affair, and Ned was like, "I don't care what she thinks, and I'm not going to let her ruin our night. So let's go."
Dumb.
I would have been like, "I can't go out. Like my night's already ruined. Like I'm only going to be thinking about this." Like,
That's what
Mhm.
that's what I wanted her to do. That is exactly what I wanted her to do. Get out. Ned needs to get
Yeah.
something. He needs to get something because I'll be pissed if he doesn't. Needs to get hit or something.
um.
Hit by a car.
So Jason wasn't really given a lot. He was mostly just concerned about AJ. Um. He was
Yeah.
he was mad at his parents for not supporting AJ, even though they have been. Um.
He's like
So
brother of the year.
Monica had a scene, I think it was on Christmas, with Karen, where she asked Karen not to say anything about Nikki getting paid off.
Mhm.
Did we see that? I don't remember seeing a scene where Karen
She walked
overheard
it
that.
Karen walked in on Alan and Monica talking about it, and she overheard what that Alan paid Nikki off
Oh,
in an earlier scene.
I completely missed
Yeah.
that scene then,
Yeah, I must have missed it
Yeah.
too.
or I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Um, so, I guess we could talk about the art a little bit.
There's really not
Oh
much to talk about.
Lord.
So, what you missed in the earlier part of the month, Eric, was Bill and Holly went undercover, I guess, as librarians, and um, Bill was dressed up like a woman, and they were out to dinner. I don't know why they were dressed up. He was dressed up like a woman, or where they were, but they ended up running into his mother, who knew it was him immediately. And Holly was like, "Your mother didn't even flinch," and he's like, "I think she just knows I'm quirky."
Is his mother anybody? I feel like they got like actors that are well known
Yeah,
now.
his mother. You said that you knew her.
Did I see? Oh
The
yeah, I
one?
do know. Yes. Okay, the one with Jenny the one time. Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
Yes.
she's a Broadway star. Yes.
Yeah, my only frame of reference
Yeah,
is Saved by the Bell for her.
we
That's
know her from Saved by
I
the
keep
Bell.
I
Yeah,
keep forgetting I keep forgetting Bill and Jenny are related
Carol
brother and
because
Lawrence.
they're
sister.
There
in
we go.
such
I got her name.
separate. What is it?
Carol Lawrence.
Yes, Carol Lawrence.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, when he acts like this, it feels more like Luke. Like I forget that he's Bill for like
Me
a
too.
second.
All the time.
It's. I feel like the whole thing with Bill and Holly is what like Luke and Laura would be doing if like
Mm,
Laura was around.
yep. I feel the same.
So Luke and Holly were together in the 80s, correct?
Yeah, only for like a few months.
Was it when he thought Laura was dead?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
She died in January, I think, of 82, and Holly came on in July of 82.
Okay.
Oh,
And then she went to Dynasty a few years later.
Yeah, years
Or the
later.
Colbys, I should say, and then Dynasty.
But she recurred, I think. She did both, I think, a couple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Um, I I like Holly. I don't love her, but I like her. I wouldn't
yeah.
mind.
mm,
I wouldn't mind if she stuck around. But I just feel
I
like
don't.
she's so tied to either Luke or now Bill. That's really her only story.
yeah,
If you see the stuff I've seen in 82 and 83, I don't love her either because she's very wishy-washy at this time.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen her
yeah,
really like sink her teeth into anything yet. It's only been like she was with Luke and then with Robert, and that's kind of it. Like there's nothing. She's not doing any missions or anything cool. Like she's just kind of like she does more in
yeah.
93 or 92. It looks like than she did back then.
So Scott is like multitasking. He's like preparing a case for Bobby. Is he whose lawyer is he? Bobby or Tiffany's?
He's Tiffany's lawyer. I
Okay,
know
so
he's
he's
Bobby's lawyer. I'm sorry.
like working on that case, but he's
And
also
Jessica's Tiffany's, right?
separately investigating this art thing. And I'm kind of disconnected from this also, but he ends up seeing a newspaper that has the lady that we think or we were led to believe stole the art. That's Lucy. And Lucy that day is wearing the same brooch as the woman.
Yeah,
Oops.
He confronts her about it. So she ends up telling him everything. Well, mostly everything. And trying to get him to work with her to, I guess, keep it a secret or find
yeah.
this Halifax or whatever his name is guy.
Bashir Halifax.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to either get some of her money back or the art. Because he's like, you screwed so many people out of their art. Not everybody had insurance on their art, like Ruby. Like she just lost
right.
her investment.
Yeah.
Kind of playing on her guilt. Um. So I guess Bill finds out through Scott that Lucy had something to do with it, and they decide to
Hmm.
play a trick on her to get her to admit it. So Bill holds her at gunpoint with an empty gun, and
That was really funny.
he pretends to shoot Holly. And I will say, for a very split second, I thought he did shoot Holly, maybe by accident, because I was like,
I
and then
did
I'm like,
too.
oh no,
Yeah,
wait, they're tricking her. They tricked me.
They did trick you.
I thought he took that way too far. Like that was way too far.
That was something Luke would do.
Exactly. That is something Luke would do.
um.
Well, he had to get it out of her. She wasn't given, so
So
had to
okay,
go far.
so the episode kind of ended with that. Was that the like cliffhanger you were talking about, Derek? Because it was like the next day in the next episode,
Yeah, because he put her in the box, and then the next day she was out of the box.
right?
So I don't know what happened with that whole thing.
Okay.
They talked about her being in the box when she said she's like, and you
Hmm.
locked me in that box. So it must have been
They
just been
did,
something she got
yeah.
out of. Yeah, I guess they didn't really need to show it.
So Marco's very flirty with Lucy. He thinks that they're cut from the same cloth.
They
He
are.
She keeps pushing him away, but then she thinks that she needs him
Hmm.
as like a bodyguard pretty much when she meets up with Bill because
That
of
was
what
funny.
happened with the gun. Bill tracks down Halifax, who says he doesn't know Lucy, and they bring him back to Port Charles, and Lucy goes to the hotel to meet with Bill and Holly, not knowing that Halifax is going to be there. And they seemingly don't know each other, but then we later on see them secretly meet. So they are working together, or she was working for him.
Yeah.
And he screwed her out of the money. He ends up giving everybody their art back on New Year's, except for Bill's. I almost called him Luke.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they couldn't locate that one. I'm confused by that.
I don't believe that, but
Right.
Yeah, like they have to have it. Where else would it go?
Maybe it was
Unless they sold it.
Yeah, maybe it was the most expensive one.
I think it was.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's that story in broad strokes, pretty much.
The boy was
Yeah.
on. Bill's boy was on somewhere. I forget who he was talking to, but he didn't really do anything.
Was he? I
Sly.
didn't see him.
Yeah, he was talking. I want to say it
He
was
was at
Ruby or
Christmas,
something.
but that was it.
Yeah, he was somewhere, but he wasn't with Bill. He was talking about how his dad hasn't
They
been
did
there.
at the hospital when they did the little story with Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
I thought
Yeah.
he popped up.
So yeah, Alan and Monica get AJ to agree to go to rehab.
Eventually.
So I guess farewell to that actor.
I thought it was
Yeah.
several times. So is it? We'll see.
I think he's done because I think Sean Keenan comes in February.
His last day was, I think, December 30th.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, damn, they were hardcore with those contracts back then.
Right.
Yeah.
I
You're
love
out.
the Christmas episode. I teared up a couple times.
Yeah, the Christmas episode was good.
It was really good.
Yeah, so Tiffany's pulling her bullshit. She doesn't want to bring Lucas to the hospital, play with the other kids, because Bobby's going to be there, and she doesn't want to deal with that. But Sean's like, let's go. And they do.
We're going.
Well, he was more like, we need to do what's best for Lucas, not what's best for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I liked when he said that.
Yeah.
They end up going, I guess, to Max for Christmas to spend it with the kids, like Robin, have BJ, Lucas, Maxie. Is there anybody else I'm missing?
Tony and Bobby.
Tony, Bobby, Mac, Felicia.
Tony, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, Bobby ends up giving him like this farm kit. It's like farm animals and playing with him. And Tiffany gets on the floor, and they like both tell this weird story, and they kind of bond over it. And are smiling at each other, and they're kind of like, okay, Merry Christmas. And they have like a nice moment for Christmas.
That was
it? Yeah. Not gonna last though.
Yeah. We'll go back to hating each other on December 26th.
Yeah, it was for sure.
I
was like, well, that was a nice moment.
I laughed when Edward said to Lila, I'm not singing on Christmas. He's so grumpy.
He is so grumpy. But he's always like that. In 82, 83, he's exactly the same. He's no character development. He's just a grumpy old man.
Jenny comes to the mansion and gives all the Quartermaines gifts. Ned won't take his, and then Paul walks in and he's like, oh, give it to him. You're like, he says something really mean. Like, that's your new lover or whatever. Okay. Did either of you think that something bad was going to happen when Tracy was chasing Paul up the stairs and they had that whole scene on the stairs? I was like, somebody's going to fall down these stairs. I know it. Like, the way they were shooting it. And then
oh, yeah, for sure.
I didn't think that. I was thinking that it was just a hard camera angle for the camera guy to get it. Because that's the way it looked like to me. I didn't think anything was going to happen.
It was a cool shot. but it
It
just
was a
the
cool
whole time
shot.
I was like, is somebody gonna fall? Is there gonna be an accident?
But I see why they changed the
Yeah.
stairwell because it looks like it's really hard to capture it like that.
Uh-huh.
hmm
Because now it's just like a really easy steps.
It's not spiral.
No, not like it used to be.
um Julia has a few moments where she tries to get Brenda to come back and she doesn't want to. I think she gives Brenda her own hotel room to stay in.
Hmm.
I was like, don't reward her
She did.
for her bad behavior. Like, you're her
Right.
Yeah,
guardian.
right.
You force her to come home.
Well, because she loves her. It's her sister.
So Jagger kind of makes it clear to Brenda, like, listen, it's cool that you stayed for a few nights, but like, you got to get your own place. You can't stay here. Like, I'm not playing house
Right.
with you.
Yeah.
And I think Ruby's kind of like, it's a one person place. Like, you can't have two people. Like, she's not paying rent.
Yeah,
Right.
Ruby doesn't like it either.
Yeah. So I guess they take advantage of the fact that Brenda now has her own room because on New Year's Eve they go to the party and they end up in that room and they make love to Boys to Men
Yeah.
end of the road.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of got some that night. Well, except Tracy. um,
Uh-huh.
but
Well,
so Paul stops because Jenny had a few drinks. Did they continue though? Because I know she was like, "No, I'm okay," and he's like, "I want you to remember it all," which I thought was
yeah.
very good for 1992 for them to say that.
hmm
Because
Yeah.
I feel like even
Yeah.
going into the 2000s, people weren't very aware of like, oh, you've had a few drinks, that's taking advantage of somebody. So I thought that was nice for 1992.
Yeah.
Who else had sex? So it was Brenda and Jagger.
Julia and Ned.
Oh, Julia and Ned. They did it. He's not even divorced.
hmm
Bad Julia. Bad.
Yeah.
Dumb Julia.
Dumb Julia. And I guess Bill and Holly. Maybe they were the third couple. Oh, Mac and Felicia,
Yeah.
right? No, they kissed.
No, Mac and Felicia just kissed, I think.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
They didn't bang.
hmm
They're just kind of falling in love, I think.
But Felicia was home alone with the kids. I think they were either upstairs or asleep, and Ryan showed up at the apartment.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was real or not because I'm so used to them faking me out on soaps. I'm like, is he really there? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And he did that like quick because he was at work that night, so people saw him at work, and then he returned back to work. And when Sean confronted him about being at the apartment, he had people vouching that he was there working. So it seems like Felicia's like
Right.
hallucinating.
Yeah,
It's like, I believe
Exactly.
Felicia.
messing with
He's like,
her.
I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
Yeah,
hmm
they do. They're a team. Felicia Robin has a moment with him too, and she's like, "I appreciate you saving my life. I didn't see that part when you saved her life."
Right.
Um, but she's like, "But I believe Felicia," and like I think he's trying to get where she is because she moved from her other location or whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, he's like,
hmm
"She's staying with you, right?" And nobody's giving it up.
Where's she staying at, Max?
I think
Yeah.
maybe
hmm
Yeah.
She's
that's what
staying
he
with
was saying.
Mac and Robin and Holly. No, Holly doesn't live there anymore. She lives in that room.
Oh yeah, she lives in, yeah,
That
that room.
closet in a
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
hotel.
closet.
So yeah, did I miss any big things that happened? I
Mm,
enjoyed the heck out of this whole month, even though some things got annoying, but it was very watchable. Like, I wasn't bored.
Oh yeah, for
Really.
sure. It was good.
yeah, it was not boring.
I
I
definitely
was trying
am a
to.
90s soap opera lover. Like, give me the 90s soaps. I'm definitely all about it. 80s, I appreciate them, but I'm like, it's not really my thing.
hmm
Michael Bolton's White Christmas played. I made that note on Christmas Eve.
Every time a song played, I was
Okay.
like, I wonder if they got the music rights for this or if they just did it because they're like, it's only going to air once. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Dominique. So she's starting not to feel good. She's been having headaches. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, is she sick? Is she dying? Is this where she dies?
No.
Because I'm like, wait,
Not
no,
yet.
she has to have
Mm,
Selena or somebody. Lucy's the surrogate, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that story has to happen.
yeah.
But I'm like, she's like, I have a headache. I'm like, she's dying. They gave her a brain tumor.
She's dead. I think it's planting the
Hmm.
seed because I think she leaves in 93, right?
Hmm.
I believe so.
Okay. Hmm.
Dominique, yeah. A lot of people leave in '93. It's so funny how many of this cast right now is not in leaves the show.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you think
weird.
it's because the writer switch and then because I feel like
I'm
Yeah.
wasn't the
sure.
writer switch and that's why Luke and Laura came back?
I don't know when Claire Labine officially took over. I know it was in '93. It might have been in the spring of '93.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because doesn't Laura come back first? Or is it the other way
Laura
around?
comes back in the No, Laura comes back in the fall of '93 with Luke.
Oh, okay.
Um, but we're gonna see like I think Dominique leaves first, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything in your notes you wanted to mention now that you have them?
Yeah.
I like
uh,
that Jenny wants to say goodbye to Lila before she leaves the house. She tells everybody off. She tells Ned off. She tells Tracy off. I really
yeah.
like that. That was a good scene for her. It's like, get him, girl. I was kind of hoping she would have like hit them both, but people need to
Oh,
get
I thought it
hit.
was very out of Tracy's character to beg Paul to like be with her. Like she's not usually like that, so I thought that was really weird.
What
She's
why does
pathetic.
she like why is she obsessed with him? Like so
Yeah, I don't
he
get
was
that.
trapped he was trapped into this marriage. Do you know
Mm.
why
Big
or how?
penis. Big penis.
He was forced to marry her by the mobster crew that was Jenny or not Julia's dad and then Faison and then somebody else. I knew that much from the history I dug up.
So I guess she fell for him and if for him it was just he was forced into it and that's why she's obsessed with him.
Yeah, I guess, and I think like he stayed with her out of guilt because of Dylan. So
Hmm. I
yeah,
when she was like, "We haven't slept together in months," I was like, "Oh, you just sold yourself
yeah,
out for that night that he got drunk," and you were like, "We made love. It was
right.
so
Didn't
good."
you just tell him that y'all made love at a couple nights ago?
Yeah, right. What?
Uh, so
Mhm.
that's all I have really. I really enjoyed it. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I liked watching it. I'm confused with Tracy too. Like, I don't know any of her past loves. Does anybody know her history of
Who's
love?
who's
No,
Huh?
Tracy's?
Tracy.
Tracy's.
Well, Ned's father, Paul, and
Who's Ned?
then
Who's
Luke
Ned's father? Did
later.
we meet him?
That's all I remember. What's that?
Yeah, like, who's Ned's
We meet
father? Do we know?
we meet Ned's father. Yeah, Larry Ashton. Yeah,
Was he like it on when the Quartermains first came on, or was he like an off-camera relationship? Because
I
like,
I think it might have been like when she first came back in like '89. I think she was still with him.
okay,
Yeah, because she was gone for a
He
long
was on the
time, wasn't
show. He
she?
was on the show that like he left the show in '91. Larry Ashton. So I know he comes back at some point, but
okay,
And
because
she was only on for 3 years, I think, from like 70 something to 80 or 81 or something like that.
okay,
yeah, I don't think she was married to him yet, or she met him yet.
Mm,
huh?
Yeah, that I
So then
remember.
she, so then her son just came back full grown. Because there was another
yeah,
actor that played Ned before
Hmm.
Wally
yeah.
from like
Hmm.
87, 88 to 91.
Yeah.
Um, so he must have been on the show before Tracy came back because in 87 she was on Days, the actress.
Well, yeah,
Maybe they
that
were
was the
married
thing.
before that off screen. I don't know.
Well, no, wasn't that the thing? He came back and Monica had slept with him and they didn't know that they were related. Like,
Oh, I
That
don't
was
know
like
the
the
Yeah.
story,
whole.
but I did read
That was
that he slept with Monica, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
yeah, because she didn't
Yeah, he
know that
did.
it was Tracy's son. She had no idea. Like that's probably why.
Mhm.
Um, Tracy wasn't quite back
Hmm.
yet, but maybe when she got back, she's like, "Oh, you slept with my son." And I don't know the situation or how it
Right.
worked out, but
I would love to really see Alan and Monica on one of their battles because I've never actually seen that. They've always been together in everything I've seen.
oh,
Mhm.
dude, they're
Yeah.
hardcore. Hardcore. I don't know you can watch probably any year, like 79, 80, 81. It's so funny, like in the current one or in 1982 that I'm watching, um, or no, 81, I'm sorry. I'm getting so confused. But in 1981, they're apart because he's with Susan. They just had Jason, and he like was consulting a lawyer and for divorce for Monica, and he's like, well, it doesn't help that I tried to kill her and Rick twice. And I'm like, so how are they even together is beyond me.
Mhm.
I feel like if someone tries to kill me, I probably won't ever see them
Right.
Probably not.
again.
Two major things from soap operas that I would never let happen in real life is if somebody tried to kill me, that I would forgive them, or I would never be friends with a friend that tried to steal my husband or be with my husband even after the fact.
Right, right.
Right.
Julia.
Yeah.
But all right, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I guess we could wrap this up.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Thank you for joining us for another edition of General Hospital, The Brenda Years, 1992. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And next time you see us, we'll be starting 1993. So until
Yay.
then, have a good
Good
night.
Happy New
night.
Year.
Bye. Happy New Year.